Hey everybody, we're here at Chris's shop in Beaverton, Oregon. This is the Be This or Build headquarters, and this is the Jump-A-Con. It is an off-road Lamborghini Huracan, and Chris is going to be telling us a little bit of stuff about it, kind of why he built it, and some of the ideas, and what's going on with the build. So let's check it out. And a bunch of this DOM is going to be augmented with some 1.5" DOM, full exo body. So the whole body is going to be tubing. What can you tell us about what actually started this in terms of inspiration? Obviously, we know where it's going to go from here.
So you can't see it, it's off frame, but right over there is our off-road Corvette, which was a project for the Gamboy 500, like probably 2018, I think. And we bent the frame on the first jump. And we thought putting big tires and like stock suspension would work. We bent the frame on the first jump, but we knew like that look and how fun that was to drive was something we wanted to continue to do. So what we thought was going to be long travel suspension on a Corvette. One day we were at Mullins Auto Parts in St. Louis, Missouri, just walking around their yard, and they had this thing, and it was basically like written off. All they were going to do was cut pieces of the frame off and sell the frame chunks. And I was like, you know, if you guys want to sponsor us, we'll build this into this crazy off-road project, because you have no suspension, you don't have no anything else. Like
it's stripped already.
Yeah, it's already stripped. There's no engine, like, but we can make this something really unique. So they said, yeah, they sponsored it. I just paid for shipping, and they just they shipped it out here. We had it 3D scanned, and then had an engineer go at designing the suspension components.
Oh, cool! I actually didn't know how the suspension came to be.
So we had this thing sitting in the backyard while we were working on the Burnt-A-Con. This thing was chained to a tree over there. And for SEMA, so it's like all SEMA prep and SEMA rush, and then every time we walk outside is this like carcass of an old Huracan that we were stealing some parts off of here and there and stuff like that. And yeah, so we always knew this was coming, but then I found a guy that designs trophy truck suspension out in California, Sam Emerson from SEM Dirt, and we made a deal, and we ended up shipping this. Kyle drove it out to his place, and he busted out a 3D scanner and scanned it all into the computer, and then developed one of a kind once-off suspension for this this platform. Yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah, I've seen some real hack jobs in the kind of cross kart realm into the kind of off-road car realm, and I hadn't really seen the suspension a whole lot when I got here. This is the first thing I noticed was this is not some just quick hack job thing. And
no, it took 4 months on the computer to develop.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's pretty in depth. And it's, I mean, I'm an off-road guy, not a car guy as much, and it doesn't look like it's gonna be an embarrassment, that's for sure.
No, I think it's gonna be pretty good. I hope. Yeah.
One other thing that blew me away was steel DOM roll cage going into a car that's made of aluminum. I'm sure Audi guys deal with this all the time. They just sandwich through the frame. This car with the cage having to go through into the front area and into the engine bay. Did you have to put in steel plates? Did you weld to the aluminum to reinforce it and bolt to that, or what did you do to?
So the rules for the Mint 400, we're kind of purposely building this just to reach all the rules for the Mint 400. So the rules state that if you have a unibody car, which is still considered a unibody vehicle, that you can only use top plates and a sandwich plate. So it actually doesn't say though that that's the only way it can connect to the vehicle. It says everything has to be bolted on. Okay. So you'll see that all of our suspension components are bolted on, although in lots of places there are other things welded onto them that mean that the bolts can never come off anyways. But it's all bolted on. So we're making sure that we comply with the rules where everything technically bolts on, although like any roll cage, you can't take it back out without cutting it into pieces.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, the bolts don't have to be the only thing.
Yeah, so basically it's really weird. It's like, imagine you have the chassis, and then you have all this metal that goes through it, under it, and around it, and it all just bolts to the chassis, but it all welds to itself. Yeah. So all the steel that we bent up with your tubing bender is all welded to itself, and it could definitely be its own car. We just got the Huracan chassis kind of hanging out here in the middle for good looks.
Yeah. I mean, you could build a trophy truck, but then you just have a trophy truck. You wouldn't have something that's interesting.
You wouldn't have that Lamborghini VIN number that costs so much money.
Yeah. Well, there's an inherent speed in that VIN number that you can't money but can buy it technically, but only on that level.
Yeah. I've recently been redesigning the front in the computer, and there is possibly a way that if we take that tow hook off the front, then we could just drive this up to a wall, and with just a little kicker, you could just drive straight up a wall.
Oh, because your approach angle hit zero.
The tires go further forward than the entire frame of the vehicle.
Yeah, so not typically a target for a race vehicle, but the 90-degree approach angle, where you can drive up to a wall and the tires hit first. It would be
Figured
the
if
first
we
time.
can put it in there, why not, right?
Yeah, it'd be the first time I've ever seen a Lamborghini climb a wall, that's for sure. Well, at least climb a wall and be able to have a chance of doing it a second time. You can do it once.
Yeah. I've seen him climb walls once.
Yeah, climb walls, climb ditches, embankments, overpasses, you name it. So, what made you decide to do the scissor doors?
The looks, like, because this thing starts to look almost like a Batmobile, so although we would never call it a Batmobile for legal reasons, I just thought it would look even crazier. And then also, when you have a roll cage and then our door bars, you can't see them in here, but they're laying in here. We have a door bar that goes through here. Having a door that gets completely out of your way is actually going to make it a little bit easier to exit the vehicle.
That does make sense.
So that was the secondary reason, is just we don't do a ton of racing, we do a ton of building, so the whole getting in and out of race cars really fast. Don't have a lot of practice, so I figured the least obstacles we could have, the better.
Yeah, it's also kind of a nod to the Lamborghini heritage, because you are taking away some of what Lamborghini put on the car. So if you can put back something historical that Lamborghini's done a bunch, it's...
Yeah, they didn't do it on the Huracans or the Gallardos, which is a shame, but they did it on the Mercy and the Aventador, and I figured why the hell not. We also didn't have any door hinges, and they're the same cost as buying the stock door hinges, so it's either doors open like this, or doors open like this, doesn't matter, same cost, so figured why not.
Chris, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for coming by, thank you for the cart, we appreciate it, the Bender.
Yeah, we expect amazing things to come off of this cart. I know you've had the Bender, but now that you've got the cart, I mean...
Now we can put things in places.
Yeah. So.